we're talking purely about happiness,
Yeah.
then you do reach diminishing returns pretty soon, right? Like once you have enough to just pay for your basic needs and not have to worry about the future, more money doesn't really make you happier.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it makes, because even there, like if you're doing work, you do charitable work or whatever, right? And of course you can say, well, the more money I put into this, the more impact it has. See, it's not going to make you happier necessarily. It's more like, really, ultimately what makes you happy is to be engaged in something that feels meaningful.
Wow.
And if you are, and generally just like living your life, like being present to a life that is worth living, right, is happiness essentially, or that's how I think of it essentially, right? It's like, it's also, happiness is maybe not the right word to look for, because I remember reading something about like people who pursue happiness tend to be less happy. Whereas people who are just like, oh, I really like, this work is really important to me, that's what I'm pursuing, they end up being happy.
And they enjoy
right?
the process of doing it. Okay.
So I think at some point, this is basically why I'm talking about this kind of process-oriented stuff, right? At some point, you're not in business, you're not working hard on your career or your business so that you can have more millions. You're doing it because this is what you want to do. Because again, there's something about the process, something about playing the game that you find appealing. And if that's not the case, then I think you're always going to be a hungry ghost, right? If you're the person who was like, okay, I have my Silicon Valley startup and I'm worth 10 million, but my neighbor is worth 50 million. And that's why I need to make more money, right? Because I feel like a failure until I can keep up with my neighbor.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, right? When you reach the 50 million milestone, you're going to realize that you're among the rich people neighborhoods, you're in the 50 to 100 million people neighborhood, which is really the poor people's neighborhood, right? And you're like, oh, the guy up on the hill is a billionaire, right? You're always going to be a hungry ghost seeking that thing where, again, I think what's going on there is that you really want something else. You think you need more money and a bigger mansion. And then you're like, I'm still not happy. What's going on? I think you want something else, right?
Right.
And I'm basically trying to encourage people to find out what that is and focus on that instead.
For themselves, yeah. So this is where identify your own goals, the ones that are actually important to you.
Exactly. And this is also why, for me, that it is financial freedom is like the goal that matters the most to me. Where basically I'm asking myself, am I free? Am I free to spend my time the way I want? Am I free to pursue the things I want? Am I free from worry about money? And as long as that's the case, everything else is just a game, right? The pursuit of further money beyond that point is just a game.